Hello all. So I'm getting a few questions that people are struggling with number 18. This is on the practice midterm homework assignment. And so this has to do with the activity series. And this is really as simple as whatever is highest at the top of the list means it's going to be oxidized more easily than something at the bottom. And so, for instance, if you have potassium together with tin, it's going to want to get together so that potassium is oxidized and tin is reduced. Okay, and so if we look at these different options, potassium with iron 2, this is really saying that potassium, it's already is a plus, and so this means that that would be reduced, and then this would be oxidized. So in all of these possibilities, something has to be oxidized, the other thing has to be reduced. And so here, this is saying that that would be reduced, and then this will be oxidized to, let's say, iron 3. Well, that's not even on here, so, and that's not right. And potassium plus being reduced, that's not going to happen because it's way at the top. That means that it's going to be oxidized. So this doesn't even really make sense. This one, aluminum 3 and iron, this kind of makes more sense as far as the question at least makes sense. But this is saying that iron, this is neutral. This is just its metal. And so that means that that would be oxidized. And this is already a plus species, so this has to be reduced. And so this is saying that out of these two, aluminum and iron wants to be oxidized. But if you look on the list, it's actually aluminum that's higher, right? So aluminum, if you're going to put together aluminum and iron species, it would want to go aluminum with iron 3 plus, or iron 2 plus, I guess, in that case. Okay, so let me just put that over here. Okay, so between, if you have, I guess there's two possibilities. There we go. So we've got between aluminum and iron. How come this isn't writing now? Come on, black. Oops, there we go. It's from a different class. Okay, here we go. Okay, so between aluminum and iron, we could either have aluminum and iron, I guess here in the question is, or in the list is iron 2. Okay. Or we could have iron 2 and, or whoops. We could either have iron and aluminum 3. Okay, that's the way the question was worded. Okay. In this case, this is written that aluminum is preferentially oxidized, right? Because that's the metal here. In this case, this is saying that iron is preferentially oxidized, right? Because you're going from that to iron 2 plus. In this case, you go aluminum to aluminum 3 plus. Okay, so that's saying, either aluminum is going to be oxidized more readily than iron, or the iron's going to be more easily oxidizable. And to get which is the case, you look at the activity series, and whatever is highest will be preferentially oxidized. And so between aluminum and iron, the aluminum is going to be oxidized more. And so that means this one is not correct. Okay? And so that was, answer B was that one. Okay? Now, looking between potassium and tin, okay, again, there's two possibilities. There's metallic potassium and tin 2, or there would be potassium and metallic tin. Okay, in this case, this is saying that tin oxidizes more readily. In this possibility, potassium oxidizes more readily. Okay, and so then you look in the chart here, potassium is at the very top, so that is going to be oxidized more readily. And so that means nope, and that is the right answer. Okay, so that's why that's answer C. Okay. And then this last one, aluminum with tin, that doesn't make sense because this is saying that both have to be oxidized, right? Because they're both metals. So that can't be the case. Okay. So another possibility between aluminum and tin would be this. Okay, so you could either have metallic aluminum with tin too, or you could have aluminum with metallic tin. Okay, in this case, this would suggest that tin is oxidized. In this case, it says that aluminum is being oxidized more readily. Okay, and so based on the activity series, what do you think is the realistic possibility? It'd be the one with aluminum, right? Because that's higher than tin in this series. So that means that aluminum is preferentially oxidized. Okay, so that would be a better way to put D, although that would be the correct answer. Okay, so that would be correct. That would be wrong. Okay, so I hope that that provides a little better explanation. Basically, you'll be given part of this, usually, not the whole thing, and just look for combinations where you'll have some metal that goes to an ion. Make sure that it is highest in the activity series over something else, and then that will be preferentially the way it will go. And so, for instance, the one we showed in lecture, when we actually were face-to-face, remember those days? Is this example, where you can either have copper going to copper 2, and then silver is being reduced, or you can have silver being oxidized where copper is reduced. And so you look in the activity series, and you see between copper and silver, copper is higher. So then whatever combination will give copper being oxidized is the one, whoops, this one, for instance, is the one that's going to happen, right? So copper is going to be oxidized versus this is saying silver is going to be oxidized. Okay, so I hope that that provides more clarity related to activity series.